Critical hit Punch All Nazis takes place in the early days of World War II and combines high adventure with cosmic horror. All dates, locations, and historical events are thrown out the window in order to create a fun story, so don't put too much thought into historical inaccuracies. All accents are done poorly, but with love, and no disrespect is intended. The foggy streets of Boston are a bustle with activity as people go about their business on this early March day. There are people on the streets corners trying to sell newspapers that talk about the coming war. There are people who are opening up their shops, and walking down the street, we see Dr. Nicholas Elias. Not really a doctor, but he likes to think he is.
Air quotes, Nicholas.
Yeah. What are you up to, Doc? You kind of left, like, as almost like after Carlos got checked into the medical wing, and they looked to see if you needed to be patched up. Mm-hmm. You were given a note, and you just kind of took off, and no one has seen you for a while. What happened?
The note was actually a note from my family, and that note indicated that Nicholas's father has passed away unexpectedly.
Yeah, and really, technically, it's a note from your father's lawyer, which I guess you could say is family. But yes, your father's lawyer or solicitor has sent you a letter that says that your father has passed away, and that you need to come home because you are the only person that can deal with this, the reading of the will. You have no living heirs anywhere. And so now you have returned to Boston in a hurry to deal with this. You walk down a kind of a crowded, dark street, and you find the apartment slash building that your father lived in.
Can I get in?
Sure, you can get in.
Grab a key, just like.
Yeah, or you can knock on the door and see if anybody answers.
I don't think so. I'm just going to unlock the door and walk in. And
all right,
I mean,
you walk in, and it's very quiet. You can hear the ticking of a grandfather clock somewhere down in the hallway, and this brings back memories of the last time you and your father talked, and it was not a good conversation, as your father was fairly upset that you were kicked out of Miskatonic University, and that he had kind of suggested that maybe your best course of action to get yourself figured out was to go into the military.
Yeah. He always said that there was clearly another great war on the horizon. And
yeah. You hear some footsteps.
That he was right.
You hear some footsteps or some clattering going on in the kitchen.
That's a good question. I'm probably as armed as I would normally be in any given situation.
I mean, you're not carrying rifles or, grenades or anything like that. You have on your body your little magical gun that you were given. The Strum 44, I believe, is what it is. Right. No, that's a rifle. You have the HDM pistol. You have the HDM pistol on your body. It is concealed. Otherwise, you're wearing normal street clothes.
Yep, just a guy in a hat and an ill-fitting wool suit. I shall enter the kitchen to see who I see.
It is the solicitor, and he is making coffee, and he turns around. Oh, you startled me there, Nicholas. It's good to see you, and these circumstances. I'm sorry that we had to bury your father a few days ago, but thank you for making it in time for the reading of the will.
I I still I'm did anything what happened? Was it just
At that moment, you hear the front door open and you hear the footsteps of three people walking down the hallway towards you, and they must have heard part of the conversation because as you turn around, you see three people in trench coats and fedora hats, and they definitely give off the air of um, of police force. The one in the front, who looks to be uh, the person in charge, says, "Yeah, that's why we're here to talk. I'm Detective Steele of the Boston Police Department. These are my compatriots, and if you guys want to introduce yourselves, starting with Brian."
I'm Detective Mansour.
Detective Loman.
Yeah. We were hoping we were going to run into yous because seems to be a little question about your father's death.
question
When did you
how?
when did you get back into town exactly? And he flips out a notebook and he's looking at you. He's got a pencil in his hand ready to write. When did you get back into town?
9 o'clock this morning.
Huh? So the cover story that if you guys remember from way early on was that indeed you were all discharged from the military, and questions on whether you were discharged honorably or not um, was never really answered.
Oh yeah.
So how does that jive with us getting promotions?
I know, right? Well, I mean, you're all part of a secret group, so
We're
yeah.
secret. We're secret
So
sergeants. So
so back
it's a
to
SS.
so my understanding was that you were recently discharged from the army.
That is correct. Yes.
And what have you been doing since then?
Oh, I spent some time back at the university. Been looking around, maybe trying to come up with a new project.
Detective Steele kind of looks over at Loman and gives a little nod. And what project that might be?
Oh, I haven't found out yet. Still looking.
And when was the last time you saw your father alive?
The last time I saw my father would have been before I shipped out in 39, I believe.
So you weren't in Boston last Thursday when your father fell down the stairs down by the wharf?
No.
You see, that's a problem that I have with your story here, uh, Mr. Helias. Before you went into the military, neighbors complained that there was a lot of fighting between you and your father. And then, just last week, neighbors were complaining that your father was fighting with someone that sounded an awful lot like you. And then your father mysteriously is found dead down by the wharf, pushed or fallen down some stairs. And you have been traipsing around Europe and apparently at Miskatonic University recently. You see how this doesn't make sense to me?
Not really. I feel like you'd have to be going in with an assumption for those particular bits of information to come together into anything at all.
See, that's why I'm the detective. I always come up with these great, what do you call them, assumptions. And they always pay off.
Mm.
My close rate is 100%.
You got anyone that can corroborate your whereabouts during these times?
Mm. Well, I don't know if you're familiar with a Mr. Arbogast, Carlos Arbogast of the Arbogast family.
Wasn't he one of the ones that was discharged with you?
He was, yes.
And wasn't his father recently given a big award by Adolf Hitler?
That I couldn't speak to.
Yeah, you know that that's true because you've been around. You've been around Carlos during the entire time when people bring it up, so.
I'm lying.
Oh, okay. Then please roll me a.
Oh boy!
With persuasion plus reason. D2.
Oh, do I have any monumentum?
There's only one.
I think I'll use it. 2 successes.
Yeah. They kind of all look at each other with knowing glances, but they appear to not press the matter about Arbogast's connection with Hitler. Good question, Brian. Other detective, do you have some questions?
He did say he was back at Miskatonic, right?
That's what he said, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what would you be doing when you're back at Miskatonic?
I was meeting some old friends, checking out the library, just sort of just revisiting my youth. You know, leaving the service was kind of I don't know. Wasn't necessarily what I felt like was my best choice, but oftentimes, you know, you make the best of what you have.
Roll that again, please.
Roll what again?
Your persuasion plus reason.
That wasn't lying at all. That was me just talking. 2 successes.
Oh,
3 successes.
No successes. No successes and complications. At this point, Steele snaps his notebook closed and says, I'm sorry, Mr. Helias, but we know you were kicked out of Miskatonic University for some questionable actions that you were doing on campus. So I find it very hard to believe that the university would welcome you back openly with these reports that we have heard. So at this point, I'm going to understand. This is your lawyer. I understand. Where are you from, sir? Oh, well, I am from the law firm of Brinson, Sirius, and Tuthane, sir. Yeah, well, listen, I understand there's a will reading today. I'm going to go check on this Miskatonic information. I'm going to leave the other 2 detectives here while the will is read, if that's okay with you. But I got to tell you right now, Mr. Helias, that we're putting your father's death down as a murder. Lightning crashes outside. Boom, crash. Ah. Do you understand what I just said to you?
Oh, I understand what you just said to me.
Okay. Well, boys, keep an eye on this one. And Steele, Detective Steele, leaves the door and he slams the door as he's leaving. And there are some dishes in the cabinet that rattle from the force of the closing of the door. The consequence of you rolling a 20, Matthew, is that you are now prime suspect, or for Doc, I guess. Doc is now prime suspect in his father's murder.
A murder for which they will literally find no evidence of my presence, and I have a plane ticket coming into town today. I'm just saying.
Were passports a big thing at this point already?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, passports are a good thing to have, but he probably could have gotten in pretty easily if you know whose palms to grease.
And certain military connections.
Recent palm.
Right.
Palm greasers.
While you're at the university, did you happen to speak with Dr. Armitage?
Yes.
Would he be able to verify this?
Actually, for that matter, what would you know about his recent passing?
I wasn't aware that he had passed.
Coincidentally, he passed on or about the same time you guys left the university.
Whoa. You're an evil man, Steve.
I mean, that was revealed last week. Yeah. That was revealed last week when you weren't here, Matthew. But yeah, that was revealed. Sally had said that the reason she joined up with Majestic was because her father passed, and she was the only expert on this stuff. So,
poor Sally.
Rob did not retain that.
Yeah, that's okay. It was a passing thing between Carlos and Sally. But good catch, Brian, the detective.
Sprinkle a little extra suspicion sauce on here.
There you go. Sprinkle.
Don't be that guy.
Well, very well. We're going to read the will, if that is okay.
Yes, please.
Oh, right. Very well. And he takes an envelope out of his breast pocket and he opens it up, and it's this is a letter that your father wrote. Just about a month or so ago.
Oh dear,
Nicholas. Once again, I've had to change my will. It has come to me that you have been discharged from the army, probably dishonorably, same as Miskatonic. I was hoping the army would straighten you out, and that you might be able to do something. But I fear what my plans for you will probably not happen. Because of this, I leave a box. And the lawyer turns around behind him where he's been making coffee, and there is a box. It's a small box, probably about the size, the width and length of a paperback book, and about 4 inches or so long, tall. It's black, and it's tied with very strong cord. I leave you the contents of this box. Everything else I'm leaving to the cat. Yours, Christos Helias.
Thank you.
And the lawyer is like, I'm sorry, that's all that there is. My understanding, your father said that you had a black cat, but I'm sorry, it's been a few days since your father's passing. I have not been able to find a black cat anywhere.
How far are we from the university?
I mean, you're a ways, but yeah, it's the same cat.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out whether the cat will get here. I have this feeling that the cat knows where I am at all times.
It might.
And the cat will just track me down.
So,
saying the cat
because
came
of this,
back?
yes.
The very next day. They thought he was a goner.
Because of the unusual requests that your father has put in here, our law firm is going to take control of all of these assets, and we will manage them for the cat if we can find them. And if the cat is not found within the next 30 days, then we will have no other recourse but to sell all your father's possessions in auction. Now, if the cat does turn up, then the cat will be well taken care of. He can stay in this apartment and have all of the goods and services here, and your father's pension fund will cover the cat for, well beyond the life of any cat.
Oh, you might be surprised.
I've had several cats in my life, and 12 years old is about the longest I've ever seen them live.
Oh, you will be surprised. Okay.
And he hands you a black box that has been securely tied with cord.
Thank you.
Yes. If there's nothing else, then as the controller of the property, I'm going to have to ask all of you to leave.
Very well.
I will leave. But I won't be happy about it.
Oh, I'm sure. Lawyers can and wills can be a tricky area to navigate.
So in the year 1940, the Boston police force, if you were to give me a number between 1 and 10, estimating the level of corruption and or worry that I'm going to be railroaded into some sort of chain gang.
Oh, it's pretty clear that the Detective Steele definitely has it in for you.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But unclear why.
Oh,
Except
no,
in
for
as
the
much
murder
as
of your father.
no, I mean, why does he hate me? He doesn't hate
Oh,
me.
he
He
doesn't
has
hate you.
100% success rate.
He just assumes based on all the facts that he's gathered, you and your father arguing before you went into the army, the fact that you've been discharged from the army, the reports of your father arguing with someone days before he dies, the fact that you say you were in the Massachusetts area recently.
You keep
He's
saying the word fact, and
I
I'm
mean,
just like,
these are the things that he has been gathered from reliable witnesses. I mean, reliable witnesses. There's old
sure.
Mrs. McGruger who lives next door to your father. She's like 97 years old,
Oh,
and
right, yeah.
then downstairs are the Poughkeepsie twins, Joni and Chachi Poughkeepsie.
Chachi.
Yeah.
Chachi Poughkeepsie, I will.
They get into all sorts of antics around the neighborhood, often caught stealing candy and stuff. So yeah, Steele knows that he's got witnesses that are not are unquestionably telling the truth each and every time. I mean, he believed your story.
Sure. He believed my story, which proves that he's not the brightest bulb in the barrel right there. But okay. So I got into town. I came to my father's home. I no longer have a place to stay. I'm probably going to need to get a room.
Okay.
And the question then becomes, do I have any money?
Hey, sure. Let's say you have some pockets of money. You
Some
have
pocket.
enough for about 3 days of a hotel and
I
food.
shall find a 3-day hotel.
Oh, hello. Are you
Hi,
checking in, sir?
please.
And what name can I put down?
Latak. Blisco Latak.
Ah, yes, Mr. Laddock. Very good. And he says, we do accept payment in advance if that will suit your needs.
Thank you. Yes, I believe I shall only be needing to be in town for, say, 3 days.
Very well, sir. And he holds out his hand and you exchange money. He signs you in. A bellboy takes you upstairs and you have a small Boston hotel room. Detectives, what were you doing while Elias was wandering around town looking for a hotel?
We would trail him. I don't
Yeah.
think he particularly, or at least I wouldn't think we'd have to try to do it covertly. Like,
Okay, but anyway, let's for fun a stealth and coordination from one or
what's
both
this?
of you.
Uh,
Let's do from one or both of you.
Uh,
Yeah, let's do both of you.
okay. 2
Hey,
successes.
2 successes from Brian and 1 success from Rob. Yeah, so
Detective the other one.
yeah, I'm going to not remember anybody's names here, but you are pretty. What is your mindset after being, your father's letter is not super kind to you, but it's in line with your last interaction with him. You've been kicked out of the house, and the only thing you have to show for it is a box.
Definitely angry, definitely disappointed, definitely self-absorbed to the point where if they are trailing me,
Yeah, all the way to
oh,
the hotel, you don't notice anyone. But when you get up to the hotel and you open the window to see the city of Boston that you haven't seen in about 2 years, you can see Blisco's character. What is your character's name, Rob?
detective other
is
one.
Detective Lohman. Yeah,
Rick
you can
Loman.
see. You can see Detective Lohman kind of standing down at the on the street, leaning up against a light post, looking up, and sees the window open, and he's just
Right.
staring right back at you.
I
So you're
wave.
in your room. Your father has been murdered, and you have a box.
My father is dead, and a very, very pushy Boston policeman claims he's been murdered, but the scientific method
I mean,
nonetheless.
they do have police, so if they think your father's been murdered, he's probably been murdered.
It's
I
1940.
mean, sure. Are you
They
gonna go
they
down?
still think that, colloidal silver is
Sure.
a good idea.
Are you gonna go
Um,
down to the docks then? Are you gonna go to the scene of the crime?
I think first, I kind of want to see what is in this box.
Okay. So if you would, let's do a agility and ooh, what can we do here?
Is
Let's
this one
do
of those saw
agility
boxes that's going to,
and
like, impale my
academia.
hands?
Let's do agility and academia.
You're just mean.
To see if you can get this undone because this is not like a twine that is just tied around a metal box. There's something about this, the way that this box is
Like,
tied up that you don't see a
okay,
knot, right? There's no way for you to see how it looks like it's one continuous piece of twine of some kind.
Steven,
Yeah.
if a man in a gimp mask with nails in his head shows up and has sights to
Oh,
tell
hey,
show me,
thanks. I'm writing that down. Gimp
uh-huh, gimp
mask. Well,
mask with nails in his
you've
head.
already seen a man in a gimp mask recently, so
I'm just saying, if he shows up and tells me he has such sights to show me,
the phone rings and you pick it up. Would you like to play a game?
Angel to some.
good afternoon, Dr. Elias. Or should I
So
say, Mr.
if you would, see if we can open this box up, please. One
One
success.
success.
Yeah, you're not for whatever it is, you spend about 20, 30 minutes trying to cut this string with your knife. That doesn't work. You try to, sometimes you can wiggle a cord off of a box, when it's tied in that kind of cross lengthwise,
Right.
widthwise kind of thing. Nope,
Yeah.
this is done in such a way that you can't get it off that way. This is a very secure box.
Interesting. And so the question becomes, is there anything that my memory tells me is probably in this box? Like, is it like, did my father have like the hand of Vecna or something and he kept it in a drawer? Or like,
Why don't you do an insight plus observation D2?
okay. Uh,
Two successes. So from a very young age, probably 8 or 9, you remember seeing this box in the kitchen on a high shelf for your entire life. It's always sat there. You've never seen it move. You've never seen it with twine on it. And every time that your curiosity kind of tempted you to climb up on the cabinetry and the shelves to try and get a better look at this box, for whatever reason, the minute that you got like 2 inches away from the box, your father was always there, and he would be like, "Nicholas, get away from there!" And
wow.
so you've always known that it's been there, but you have no idea what's inside of it. That is the memory that you have of this black box.
Can I take another shot at unraveling literally?
And not right now. You've kind of worn yourself out. Uh, trying to undo this thing.
Do I have a shower or a bathtub?
Sure. You take a shower and you are clean question mark by 1940 standards.
What time of day is it? Is it
It's
like
noon now. It's lunchtime now.
noon? I should set out into the streets
All right.
looking for food.
You find a restaurant and you're able to sit at a cafe, and sure enough, you look across and there are two detectives at the table 3 down from you. They're at this
Yes.
point not concealing that they're following you.
Well, why would they?
Raise a glass in his direction.
I shall order something. I
Yeah,
shall
you get
see.
something and you eat it and it's delicious and it's good and your belly is full.
Okay. To my family is all dead. My
Yes,
mother's dead. My
your
father.
mother died. Your mother died. Interestingly, if you really sit there and think, now that you've had a full stomach and you've started to calm down a little bit, you start to think that your mother died right about the same time as your earliest memory of the box showing up in the house.
Oh no. It's her soul. Okay. I now have some food. I brought the box with me. It's in my overcoat.
Okay.
I would like to find someplace like the park. I'll go to the park, and I am going to put my entire brain face power towards seeing if I can open the box.
All right. You can try,
Okay.
but this will be the last time you'll be able to try today.
Oh, it's a twice a day box. Those are
Yeah.
the worst kind. Okay.
And of course, the
All right.
detectives are not too far behind. They're obviously watching you and pointing and taking notes.
Of course, because why not? And this is another one of those. Let's see. Can I throw in some insight? I'm feeling quite insightful.
No.
Just saying, I'm good at that.
Yeah, one
One
success
success.
and one complication. Yeah, so you at this point, you're tugging on this string so hard and you're not paying attention on how hard you very much really want this thing opened up now because your curiosity has gotten the better of you. You're pulling and pulling and pulling, and you don't realize that the cord has lacerated your fingers. You know, like how if you're pulling on a piece of twine really hard, sometimes it'll cut into your hands. This one has literally cut into your hands.
Ugh,
So you need to take one physical damage.
dang it.
And as you're standing there, trying or sitting there, I don't know what you're doing, how you're cleaning up
Sitting.
yourself or stopping the blood from flowing.
Do I have my stuff with me?
Sure.
All right. I'm going to open my first aid kit. Aha!
Okay.
Does it give me anything? No, because I didn't actually refill it. And I'm going to take the time to clean, as by 40 standards, mercurochrome.
Sure.
No
And as you're doing
bandage.
that and wrapping a bandage around, a man is walking by. Oh, good Lord. Are you okay, sir?
Yes. Just
My goodness, that is a nasty gash. Nasty gash. Oh, I'm I'm sorry. Are you Nicholas Helias?
I am, yes. Do we know each other?
Oh, yes. Well, no, not really. I knew your father. Edwin Adelsberger is my name.
Hmm. Have I ever heard that name?
No.
Oh, well, it's always nice to meet one of Father's friends.
Yes. I'm terribly sorry to hear of his passing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
We
When
will,
did you get back into town?
just today, actually, for the reading of the
Oh,
will.
I'm so sorry. So sorry indeed. So your father was buried a couple of days ago in accordance with, your beliefs. Um, have you had a chance to meet with your lawyer and go over the will?
I have, yes.
Ah, and I suppose your father left you everything, yes?
Not precisely, no.
Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. And he pulls out a card. Listen, I am someone that is into investments. And
Mhm.
if you oh my. If you and he kind of is looking at this black box that's sitting on the bench next to you. What an exquisite black box. Might I see it?
If it's all right, no. This is actually
Oh, that's a
something
shame.
my
That's
father left
that's
to me.
exquisite. I'm someone that deals with antiquities and investments. So if you are ever in need of money, just as a friend of your father, Mr. Elias, I would be very interested in helping you out. And he hands you his card, and it says, Edwin Adelsberger, uh, purveyor of fine antiquities and investments. And underneath, you see this symbol, and it kind of looks like a key, but it's not a key. That's what it just reminds you of is a key.
Mhm.
And there's a number and an address there. And he says, good. Are you sure I can't buy that box from you right now? I will give you $100. And he starts to reach into his breast pocket and he pulls out his wallet and he's opening it up and it's full of money. It's got it easily has $1,000 in there.
No, not today. I
Are you
still
sure? $200. I could give you $200 today. I know of a buyer who is very interested in finding a black box exactly like this one.
Oh, really? And who would that be?
Yes, it's an acquaintance of mine. Oh, and surprisingly of your father's as well. He's been looking for a box just this exact size because he has a very rare silver key that he would like to store in that, and that would be perfect to hold the silver key.
Ah, certainly.
Yeah,
So, and
I'm
what was
going to
his name
imagine
again?
that.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What?
What was his name?
Oh, his name is, and he looks around and he sees the detectives watching and scribbling notes. His name is uh, Fabian. Yes, Fabian Kune.
Ah, German, is he?
No, I believe he's Scandinavian.
Ah, indeed. Well, definitely, I'll keep it in mind. As I say, I haven't really come to terms with all of this, and I haven't actually opened the box yet, but I do have your number, and I will call you if I need to.
Yes, yes. And again, I'm so sorry about your father's death. It's so
Thank you.
sudden when people die in their sleep like that. Yes, yes. Goodbye now. And he tips his hat and he starts to walk away.
In their sleep.
That's what he said.
I'm sorry, did you say in his sleep?
I'm sorry. What?
You said he passed away in his sleep.
Oh, yes. Did you not know your father passed away in his sleep?
No, I
It's
hadn't heard.
Yes. My understanding was you just got into town. I'm sorry to be the one to have to break this bad news to you. Yes, but the my understanding is that your maid found him in bed, passed away in the night.
That is tragic.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you for telling me. I had not yet
yes.
heard that
I'm so
information.
sorry again about your loss. Have a good day, and please consider calling me because I'll give you $500 for this box right now.
No, 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 no. But again, I have your number. I'll keep it in mind.
Okay, very well, thank you. Detectives, do you guys do anything? You see this odd exchange. You see it looks like, you know, Elias has slashed his hand and a man suddenly walks up to him and starts questioning him. Looks like he's trying to offer him lots and lots of money.
I mean, we were there during the reading and all, right?
Yep, you were. Mm-hmm.
So, and we know that box was left to him.
Yes.
Yeah. I think pretty much have a general read on the situation. I don't know that need to probe at this time, unless
I probe the gentleman as he's leaving.
Okay, he's walking right past you.
Yeah. Stop him real quick. Show him a badge.
Oh, yes. Oh, hello, officer. How may I help you?
You just spoke with Mr. Elias over there.
Oh, yes, yes. I'm a good friend of his. A good friend.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. His father just recently passed away, and I was just paying my condolences.
We're aware of that. You were asking about the box. Did you know something?
Oh, was I? No, I was just inquiring on his well-being, and I figured he was down on his luck and needed some money, so I was simply offering him money. And of course, being a very good man and a good, honorable man, he refused that offer. So yes, sir. Is there anything else I can do to help you?
Can I get your business card?
Yes. And he reaches in and pulls out a business card, and he hands it to you, and it says Brown and Sons Shoe Company. And it has a address that you are familiar with. There is a Brown Shoes that, in fact, you bought your floor chimes from that very store 2 years ago. Is there anything else, officer?
No, that'll be all.
Okay, very good. And he tips his hat and walks on.
I will keep an eye on him as he leaves.
Yep, he continues to walk, and he gets to the edge of the park, and another gentleman comes up to him, and they both kind of look at each other and walk off together.
Because we were able to hear their conversation, right?
Let's see. Why don't you roll me a insight plus observation D2? And it really depends on how close you were to him at the time. But let's roll that first.
Yeah, rolling.
Okay. Would instincts or sight be involved in this?
Instincts, no. You don't. Your character doesn't do lip reading or anything like that.
Give me a sec.
I would say maybe sight.
Polymath. Everyone attempts a skill test to detect danger or hidden enemies. Reduces the difficulty by 1. Nope. Doesn't look like I've got anything.
Yeah, let's just do a D2. But since the first aid kit has been opened, you have 3 momentum to spend.
Woohoo!
You said D2?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One
Ah,
success. You
bugger.
just kind of overheard things. You missed the part about where the guy introduced himself and handed the business card. So you didn't hear that part. You could hear the man offering money and saying he would be very happy to buy the box. But you didn't hear much of anything else. It seemed like a relatively pleasant exchange from what you saw.
Yeah, I'll show the card to
Officer, the first one.
Yep, you show him the card, and Detective Gerard. Yeah, you're not really familiar with his shoe store. You, of course, are not a Florsheim man. You are a Buster Brown man, and you get your shoes from a different store.
What would a cobbler want with this box?
Hard telling, but all sorts of people like different things. I mean, either way, it seems like our suspect there doesn't seem to be too eager to get rid of it. So,
Fair enough.
Hey, Doc, you have staunched your bleeding. You have fended off a potential salesman, and he mentioned something about your father having a maid and passing away in his sleep.
Do I know of my father having a maid?
No, your family never made enough money to do those kinds of things. In fact, old lady McGillicuddy or whatever her name was that lived next door, she would often, as a favor after your mother passed, would come over oftentimes at least once a week and kind of clean up the apartment and do laundry for your father. And your father would give her just a few, what little meager extra savings he had from the week's pay as thank you. But really, it was more because Miss McGillicuddy um, knew that you were growing up without a mother, and she felt sorry for you.
This is weird. And she gave me a name, and I clearly it's not a name I recognize, so that's probably a thing. Don't know. Going to have to see
Yeah, Edwin Adelsberger.
Attelsberger. Mr. Roger Glees. Shoot. Adelsberger. Do I know of anyone that I absolutely know was one of my father's friends? Uh, other than, well, maybe Mrs. McGillicuddy.
You could go talk to her. I mean, you've got some conflicting reports on did your father pass away in his sleep, or did he get pushed down a bunch of stairs? So there's that too. But yeah, you could go talk to Mrs. McGillicuddy or whatever her name is. We're going to call her McGillicuddy because we're
riffing. Yeah, I think I'm going to go and talk to Mrs. McGillicuddy about that.
All right, so you make a point of hiking it all the way back to the apartment building, and you go upstairs, and you see that there is now a big padlock on your father's apartment. Like, it has been padlocked closed, and there's a sign that has been attached that says, by order of the court, the property is currently in control of Brinson Sirius Duthane, and a number to call if you need that. And you go up to Mrs. McGillicuddy's door and you give it a knock, and she opens it up and goes, "Oh, it's you, Nicholas."
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to come by and say hello.
How dare you show your face around here? I heard your father and you arguing the other night.
Ma'am, I haven't been back to town in over 3 years.
What's that? You're going to have to speak up.
I haven't been here in several years.
No, I heard you through the walls arguing with your father.
On the night he died.
What did the person say?
He was demanding that.
And she points at the box in your hand.
Wanted the box. I suppose that's it, and you got what you wanted after you killed your father. After everything I did for you.
Yes, you're a terrible, terrible person, ma'am.
I have a right mind to call the police right now.
I'm not sure.
Are you? You're not going to kill me, are you? No. No, help. Please. Please help. Can somebody help a poor old woman? Murderer! There's a murderer in the building!
And she slams the door, and you can hear it lock like 16 times. Click, clack, slide. Click, slick, slide, slide, slick, click, click, clack.
Well, that achieved nothing.
As you turn around, all of the woman's hysterics have caused another door to open, and you see a pair of eyeballs poke out before quickly closing, and you also hear click, click, clack, clack.
Click, clack, click, click, clack. Do I know who lives in that apartment?
No, not familiar, probably. You had probably already gone to school by then. I think Mrs. McGillicuddy is the oldest person in the building. Second only to your father, who is now, of course, passed away.
Right. Well, I mean, he's still old. He's just not getting any older.
This is one of those buildings. A lot of immigrants come through, and your father was an immigrant, and so this building changes over a lot. To have people stay for as long as Mrs. McGillicuddy and the Helias family did is kind of a rarity. But there's always constantly people either getting kicked out or finding better living conditions or moving away or whatever. So this building constantly changes.
Now, the question that I have is, if it's constantly changing, did they change the loose latch on the bedroom window where the fire escape was that I used to sneak in and out when I was a teenager?
You can perform an agility plus, what would it be? Agility plus athletics, D2 to find out.
Am I any good at that?
I mean, good Lord, I don't know what the state of fire safety was in the 1940s in the place where, I don't know if, in the place where a lot of immigrants would come and stay. It's your landlord probably, your landlord probably didn't keep this place in a good condition.
Are you actively climbing the fire escape right now?
Yes, he is, and we're going to find out if he succeeds.
Gonna actively climb the fire escape, and I can't.
He does. You guys, you see Nicholas come out of the front of the apartment building, look up at the window of where his father's apartment would be, and then you see him go down the alleyway to the fire escape. And this is one of those with a ladder comes down and you have to jump up to grab it. And you see Helias kind of jumping up and trying to grab it, but he's just short enough that every time he jumps, it just gets just out of reach, to the point where he's making a lot of noise, and it's pretty obvious what he's trying to do.
So what exactly are you trying to do here?
Trying to climb up the fire escape. What does it look like I'm trying to do?
To what ends?
And you call yourself a detective? I'm going to climb the fire escape.
For what purpose?
When I was a kid, I used to climb up to the roof, and I would sit right up there next to the chimney. You see the chimney? And I would just look over the city, and it always made me feel better, and it made me think of my parents. But now my dad is gone, and now I can't leap up. It's been a bad day. I think I'm just going to go.
That may be for the best.
So look at your list of clues, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
Clues. I have a maid who doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Father arguing with a male voice.
Yeah.
A strange man who wants whatever the box is or what's in the box.
Okay.
Who either is or works for whomever was yelling and arguing with Father. I have a cop who wants to railroad me for murder, even though someone else is of the opinion that father died in his sleep.
Now, if there was only some way you could find out how your father really died.
Yep, that's a good point. I'm just going to go back to my hotel now, he said, sneaking off.
I mean, you've got 2 police officers right here.
He said, sneaking off to the morgue. Oh, officers,
Yes.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why did that gentleman say that my father died in his sleep while your boss says he was pushed down a flight of stairs?
You guys know from the autopsy and the reports that Christos Helias was indeed pushed downstairs by the dock and broke his neck. It was not a slip because the soles of the man's shoes were very good. It was not wet at the time, and the man looked to be in good health and probably was not going to slip on those stairs. That's the information that you guys have gathered from the autopsy and from the crime scene where photos of Mr. Helias were taken.
Now, I would like to clarify that when you say by the dock, you mean near where the boats are tied and not by me, the dock. And I think that we've just figured out why Lieutenant Bradshaw is so sure I did it. He misread by the dock. That's what it was. Okay. Anyway, why does he believe that my father died in his sleep?
That's an interesting question. Maybe something we'll have to look in on. Maybe we can make some calls and see what we can figure out on that.
What's a cobbler want with your box?
A cobbler? He's not a cobbler. He's an antiquities dealer, he said. Who said he was a cobbler?
The business card he gave me?
So I will show the officers the business card he gave me. This business card?
Take it and compare it to, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the same kind of font. Yeah, it's the same font style. It is the same size and paper weight and all of that stuff. And interestingly enough, even though it says Braun and Sons Shoe Company, it also has the exact same kind of looks like a key but not a key design right underneath the name. But other than that, 2 totally different names, 2 totally different businesses, 2 totally different addresses.
So didn't his death get released in the papers too, with the actual cause?
In the papers?
Yeah, your father's death was in the papers. Man found dead at the docks, and had a name and everything in there.
So why?
Why don't you roll me? Why don't you just roll me real quick? An Insight Plus. Is there a reason? Insight Plus academics.
You think? Yeah. Or maybe an Insight Plus observation. I don't.
Whichever one's higher. We'll make it easy to a D1.
Yay! Whichever one's higher.
Yep.
Boom. 2 successes.
2 successes. Yeah. You instantly realize that, yes, this man probably realized that you told him that you had just come into town that day. And so he thinks that you have no idea that what really happened because he doesn't know anything about the police following you or a murder investigation. So, yeah, it's pretty clear that your father's death would have been in the paper at a time when you would not have been able to find the paper. And they don't keep old copies of papers just lying around anywhere. So, yeah, that's probably why he said those things to you.
This is all information that I relay to the detectives. Gentlemen, will you indulge me for a moment? Knowing that someone said they heard a man, and if you give me the benefit of the doubt that it was not me, I believe that together we may be able to find who it was, which is what your boss wants you to do. Now, he thinks it's me, But I'm wondering about this gentleman because you don't have 2 business cards made up unless you're up to something hinky.
Well, it is very worth looking into. You'd be willing to take a ride with us?
Yes, I was actually going to ask.
How close are these addresses?
Oh, they're like several streets away from each other. Like easily 15-minute walk away from each other. So about a mile.
Turn to my partner. Shall we go check this antiquities place?
Yeah. Seeing as I don't believe this man gave me anything legitimate on the card I've gotten.
And somebody wants what's in this box.
You don't know what's in the box either?
I don't. It's been in my house as long as I can remember, probably since shortly after my mother passed away. That was years ago.
Yeah, that would be like almost 20 years.
And father was not the most forthright of people.
Well, if this box is what's caused these problems, maybe we should open it.
I'd be willing to let you try. I wasn't able to, and that's how I got this.
Yeah, we saw that.
I hand it to Officer the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take it and...
Officer Lohman, yeah. So Officer Lohman, roll me a brawn plus athletics. D2.
Brawn?
Yeah. Because it's just a piece of string, right? You should just be able to rip that thing right off.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be amazing if I succeed at this, by the way.
Okay. It's going to be awesome. You're going to lose a finger.
One success. Yeah, you think that this is just a simple piece of twine. This skinny guy that's standing next to you definitely is not up to the task, but you, a big member of the Boston Police Department who works out twice a week in the gym, you get the box and you give it a big old yank, and you yank, and you yank, and it will not break.
It's wicked.
No matter how much you twist, no matter how much you pry, you pull out your little knife and you try to cut it off, nothing.
It just looks like twine?
Yeah. But again, it looks like a single continuous piece of twine. You can't find like the ends of the string that would tie the knot.
I'll hand it over to my partner.
Oh, so we have a pair of scissors in the car.
I mean, you just saw Detective
pulled out a knife
try to knife and try to cut it, and that didn't do anything either.
But also, Detective Lohman is not particularly brawny.
Oh, he's not? Okay.
No, like you're a big strong man. I was like, no, I'm not.
Well, I mean, you think you're a big strong man.
No.
Right? So, all right.
He
so you guys pile
no athletics and 8 brawn.
Okay. So
you was like,
you guys pile into the car and you drive over to the antiquities store. And sure enough, when you get there, there is indeed an antiquity store at this address.
What does the name on the store say? The same as the card?
No, it just says Hyperlexic Antiquities.
Interesting.
Seem to be open?
Oh, yeah, it's open.
All right. Go on in, see if we
little ding. There's a little ding on the bell, and you see a few people milling around. A couple of older women who look to be antiquing. There's a man who is talking to another person, and he notices the three of you walk in. Oh, hello, gentlemen. How may I help you today? Is there something that I can find for you? Perhaps you're looking for a gift for your loved ones, or maybe it's an anniversary. We've got it all at Hyperlexic Antiquities.
Actually, we were looking for someone.
Oh? This is an antiquity store, not an old people's store. Sorry, ma'am. I wasn't referring to you. You look beautiful.
Do you have anyone that works here by the name of... Whatever it was.
So Edwin Adelsberger. Oh, Edwin. He's not here today. I believe he is out trying to find new merchandise. Why do you ask?
You may be a person of interest in an ongoing investigation.
Oh my. That's interesting. Come back here with me. And he takes you back over to the counter, and some other salesman comes up and helps the older lady. Now, exactly what is this? What is going on?
Just ran into a gentleman who seemed to be awfully interested in an ongoing situation. Do you know where we could find this Edwin? Or perhaps...
No, he started with us 3 months ago, and he kind of keeps to himself. We've tried to invite him over to dinner, but he's always refused politely, of course. He seems like a very reasonable gentleman. Very nice. I find this very disturbing that he would be involved in some kind of police scandal. Was he trying to steal something, or is there a question about one of our antiquities that he may have procured by ill means?
Just questions. Nothing so drastic. Would you happen to have his home address?
Oh, it would take me just a moment. And as he's pulls out a little box from underneath the cash register, he opens it up, and it's really full of a lot of like index cards. And he starts flipping through it, and he looks and says, "Oh my, look at that box." And he sees the box that you're holding, Doc. That is an exquisite piece of... that is... May I have a look?
If you'd like, yes.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh. Oh, this is at least from the 1700s by the way the joinery here is formed. Oh, and the lacquer. Oh, my goodness. This looks like an original coat. It's been very well kept. Very well kept. No hinge. Very nice. Nice. Yes, very detailed work. And he's turns it over, and he's looking. Oh, what is this? And he pulls a big magnifying glass out, also from behind the counter, and puts the magnifying glass. He's looking at it very closely. Oh, no scratches on the bottom, but look here, gentlemen. And he hands the magnifying glass to you, and he goes, "Look right here in the corner. This looks to be a maker's mark, not one that I've ever seen before." And who's going to look at it?
I am. My box.
You look at it, and you can see that the little insignia on the bottom of the box, it's very, very tiny. It would probably be about the size of a typewriter letter A. Mm-hmm. That's how small it is, very tiny. But under the magnifying glass, you can see that it looks exactly like that key that's on Adelsberger's card.
I mean, do you know the significance of that symbol?
Of this symbol? No. Hold on one moment. He turns around, and his back is towards you, and he's looking for a book on the shelf, and there's a bunch of books behind him. But his back is towards you, and there's a box of cards there by you, and he's like, let me see. Yes. And he reaches up, and he pulls down this book and opens it up. His back is still towards you, and he starts flipping through pages. No. Okay. Here's the closest thing. And he turns back around to all of you who are apparently standing there the entire time. He turns back around to you, and he goes, "Yes, so I thought this might be one of Paul Revere's marks, but it certainly isn't, and it's certainly not a Franklin mark. That one is totally different. Sam Adams is totally out on this, but I did find here it only has 3 entries. It's called is this right?" And he's looking, "The Silver Key Club." And it only lists 3 things. It says that they were a social organization, that they had some silver printed, and that they had it looks like 1 carriage with the symbol on the side, but that's it. I sorry, gentlemen, I can't find anything else for you.
Oh. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time.
I would, since this is such a rare box, I would offer to buy it from you right now. If you were willing to part with it, I could give you, and he opens up his cash register. I could give you $700 for it.
I'll definitely keep it in mind. Right now,
I could give you $1,000 for it.
No,
If this is only the fourth known artifact with this mark on it, I could, if you could come back in an hour, I could get you $5,000.
What were the other three?
He had mentioned some silver,
the carriage,
that had been
silver.
a carriage, and I forget what the other one was. People can rewind 45 seconds and find out for themselves. $5,000. That's a lot of money, sir.
I put it in my coat, and I prepare to leave the store.
There's a significant bulge in your coat. Did you want Adelsberger's address?
Yes, please.
And he reaches in and he pulls out the card and he hands it to you, Detective Lohman.
Thank you.
And you can see that its address is not too far away from here. It's more in the fancy part of town. Bostonians, you can write in and tell me what's that?
Is it any closer to the other address?
Oh, no. This is like Bostonians
I didn't realize
listening.
I returned to the hotel.
Yeah, no. Bostonians who are listening, please write in and tell us what the fancy part of Boston is. But this is from the fancy part of Boston.
Beacon Hill, I believe, is.
If that's what it is, then that's what his address is.
Yep.
No, the shoe store is like a mile away. It's still in the downtown busy shopping area.
I think we should check out the other address, but I'm not going to say anything in front of the gentleman. I'm just going to walk towards the door and hope that the detectives follow me, because I'm doing the thing, because, I'm presuming that because I might be a person of interest.
Yes. We're going to be sticking close to you.
So you leave. As you leave, he could go, $10,000. You can hear him yell at you as the door closes and you're all back out on the street. $10,000, officers. That's more money than you will make in the next 3 years.
And you figure he's probably only offering a percentage of what he thinks it's worth.
I mean, scratch like that might be incentive for someone to kill a man.
Yeah. Which does make you wonder, since I didn't do it, is the killer going to come after me next? I think we should check out Adelsborough's other address.
Which one? The Braun and Sons shoes or the fancy address?
The shoes address, because I have a theory.
Detective Lohman, you bought your shoes from this place. You know exactly where it is. So you guys head over there. You go inside. Sure enough, it's kind of the same thing. It's the yes, they do have a Mr. Adelsberger, who is one of the shoe people. And he does work there.
Is he there currently?
No, I don't think he's here now. He only comes in and works on Saturdays and Sundays. I think this is a part-time job for him.
Interesting. And could you describe?
How about you? Them are some Buster Brown shoes. How about a nice pair of Florsheim, sir?
Perhaps later. Could you describe this gentleman to us, please?
And he describes him exactly as the man that you guys know.
Thank you. Would you happen to have his address?
Yeah, we don't give out that kind of information. What do you think we are? A phone book? Just look it up in the phone book.
All right. So my badge doesn't dissuade him any different?
Hey, look, officer, I'm a busy man. There's women that needs to buy shoes, kids that needs to buy shoes. That old man over there has been waiting for me to find him a new pair of shoes. I'm really busy. I'm sorry, officer.
All right, then. We might be back later. Let's head on out. If there is like a phone booth nearby, I will.
Yeah, sure. There's a phone booth right there.
I'll see if
phone
I can
booths are
find
like,
that
you see
name.
phone booths as far as the eye can see. This is the 1940s. You can't go 20 steps without finding a phone booth.
Yeah, I'll just see if the names happens to be in the phone book.
Sure enough, there is an Edwin Adelsberger in the phone book.
Does that correspond with the address we already got?
It corresponds with the address that you got exactly from the antiquity store.
Okay. Very well. At least that's lining up. Yeah, let's see if we can find this fella at home.
Okay, so you guys all drive out to the fancy part of town, and it's kind of amazing for you, Doc, because you really didn't get around too much in the city. I mean, there was areas that you went to, but Beacon Hill, the fancy part of town, was never an area that was super appealing to you. So it is kind of interesting to see the city change as you move from your neighborhood to this neighborhood. And sure enough, after about 25, 30 minutes, you pull up to a very big mansion.
Any iconography that might look like a little key, perhaps, or
I
anything?
mean, I don't know. Why don't you walk up to the door so you can get a better look?
I walk up to the door.
Sure enough, you
So I
can
can get a
tell
better
because
look.
I'm giving you a free observation and an insight check that
Yeah.
the door knocker does look exactly like the symbol that you guys have seen on the card. And in fact, there's a little plaque right next to the door that says the Silver Key Club.
Officers,
Yes.
if I suspect, as I suspect, we're about to knock on the door of the man who murdered my father, would you be carrying your service revolvers?
Always.
All right. And if you had them at this point in time, say, in a state that is ready, because again, we're about to confront the man who I believe killed my father.
Knock on the door, and after a moment, the door opens, and there is a very fancy butler. His nose is in the air. Yes, gentlemen, may I help you?
Yes. We're here to see whatever that name was again.
Edwin Adelsberger.
Adelsberger.
I'm sorry, Edwin, that you're listening and everybody can't remember your name. You are a very important part of everything that we do here at Major Spoilers, and we thank you for your patronage.
We do.
My apologies.
We just bad at names.
Yes.
I'm sorry, sir. Are you on the list? This is a private club, sir.
Show my badge. We have some questions for him.
I will see if Mr. Adelsberger is currently in residence. Please wait here.
All right.
And he does let you to step inside and into the foyer. And this is a long hallway. This is very plush. There's wood paneling, carpets everywhere, deep, rich colors, leather chairs. You can smell what smells like cigarette smoke, and you can smell alcohol in the air. Yeah, this is a very fancy highbrow club. And you are all standing there in the entranceway as the butler turns or the man who answered the door turns and walks off, and you can see him turn left into one room, look around, turns right, looks into another room, looks around, and then continues to walk forward and then out of sight.
So we're in a foyer where we would foy.
It's a long entranceway, I guess it would be, but it is like a fancy club house, like a gentleman's club.
Right. Do we see any doors nearby?
Yeah, you just saw the butler just look into two rooms.
But are there doors that we can just duck behind and look inside?
There's a door right next to you, sure.
We're gonna open the door.
It's a coat closet.
Well, that's stupid.
It's full of very fancy coats.
Do any of them look like Adelsberger's coat that he was wearing
not that you can,
when we met earlier?
There's so many coats in here.
But I'm sure his coat was special.
No.
Ah, dang it. Okay.
Very nondescript.
Yeah. Black.
Do we wait?
Yeah, so I think it's best we just wait here a moment.
A few minutes later, the man comes back. He goes, "I'm sorry, sirs, but Mr. Adelsberger does not appear to be in residence today. May I take a message for him?"
Yes. Tell him that Dr. Helias has reconsidered his offer.
Yes,
He'll
I
notice
will
me.
let him know. Good day, gentlemen. He opens the door and kind of politely but impolitely ushers you all out back onto the street. And the door closes, and the knocker knocks. Boom.
I look for fire escapes.
You look up, and if you would, roll me an observation plus insight.
Okay.
Two successes. Very good. As you step back and you look up at this very tall building, you can see about 3 floors up a curtain close, and you could swear that was Adelsberger behind that curtain as it closed.
He's in there. He's in there.
Are warrants a thing at this time?
Are what?
Are warrants a thing?
I'm sure they are, yes.
Kicking down a door with your gun blazing is also a thing. Elliot Ness would never wait for a warrant.
I mean, Elliot Ness would totally wait for a warrant.
Fine. Lieutenant Bradshaw would never wait for a warrant.
I mean, so let me just say this, Matthew. You're
Johnny's
not under
father.
Matthew. Your character is not under arrest.
That's true. So I could do something to get arrested.
Yes.
I mean, you just said that you wanted to look for a fire escape.
Yeah, it's true. Do I find a fire escape or anything?
I mean, if you walk away from the 2 men, the 2 detectives have been following you all day. You go down and you see that there's a long alleyway. You don't see any fire escapes, but you do see a like a servant's door halfway down the alley.
Ooh.
Kind of cock an eyebrow to my partner.
You think you can open that?
I look to my partner. See, what do you think? Should we check into this further, or
you're going to pick the locks? So here's the thing: when you're going to pick a lock, one of the first things you should always do is turn the doorknob, just in case it's already unlocked.
Wait, turn the doorknob.
The door opens. You can see that this is the entrance for servants. It's kind of like a mudroom, but you can see it's tiled. It's not as well maintained as the entranceway that you were just in, and it kind of leads downstairs to what smells and sounds like a kitchen pantry area.
Right.
Go in.
Right.
Okay, you go in.
Open.
Boss said to follow him. Keep an eye on him.
All right.
Go down the stairs.
Okay, you go down the stairs, and you are now in kind of like a gathering area. This would be in the older days when this was probably owned by a very, very wealthy family. This would be where the servants would sit and have their meals, and this would be the main kitchen area. It's very warm and cozy down there, but you can see lined up against the wall, you can see some cloaks, some servants' cloaks. You can see some boots. Somebody probably wore in some boots from a snow or mud, so you see those sitting there, and you see a woman cooking at the stove. It looks like she is making some kind of a dessert for an afternoon treat.
And now, who are you? You're not supposed to be in here.
Police business, man.
Yes.
Police? Nobody said nothing about no police.
We're looking into some things. Go about your business.
She kind of looks at you.
Flash the badge.
I don't know. I think I should inform Mr. Willoughby. I don't want to lose my job because of this.
If you feel you must.
Nobody's going to strong arm or anything.
Well, he was already aware of our presence.
He was? I heard nothing of it. Let me see your badges.
I say Willoughby was the one who opened the door, right?
You don't know. He never introduced himself.
Well, oops.
But she asked for your badges.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
You two show badges?
I already showed her.
What about him?
He's with us.
I was never here when you came in. I'm not getting deported. I need this job. I have 600 hungry mouths to feed.
We had no idea who you are.
Let's keep it that way.
And she scuttles off somewhere.
Scuttling.
Yep. All of her 6 cracklings scuttle across the floor.
That's why she has children, one for each leg. Okay, so.
Let's see if we can find some stairs up.
Yeah, sure. There's some stairs right over there, and you're climbing up, and you can, again, start to smell the cigar smoke and the alcohol, a lot of brandy kind of smells that are wafting up from a gentleman's club. You get up to the top of the stairs, and you see, open the door slowly, and you can see right across into another room, and you can see a bunch of high-backed, overstuffed chairs and a fireplace that's roaring, and you can see some men sitting around. Their backs are towards you, so they don't hear you. And you can overhear them say, "Could it be? Have they really found it? Do you think that it's there? I think it might be. What did Alice Vulgar find out? Does he know anything? I don't think he was able to get the box. Wasn't able to get the box. Why didn't he just take it from the man? I don't know. Well, I'm going to have a few stern words with him later. As I will. This key is valuable for us." And they kind of continue to mutter and talk amongst themselves. But those are over the course of about a minute or so, those are the things that you are able to pick up.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we should question them more or see if we can't find our other suspect.
There is a staircase, this stairway that you came up is right. It's one of those doorways that open up right by the staircase that leads upstairs. Wow. So kind of like like a closet under the stairs. This is a staircase under the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go up to the 3rd floor.
Yep. As you go up each floor, the 2nd floor looks again more office spaces, gathering areas. One area looks like a library. There's a dumbwaiter on the stairs at the top of the stairs that goes up and down. If you go up to the 3rd floor, this looks to be more like private areas, just a hallway of doors.
Like shut
there's
doors?
There's a window at the end of the hallway. But yes, all of these are big oak or walnut. I don't know what fancy people have in their houses. These are solid core doors, not these hollow core doors that people have today. These are fancy doors, damn it. And they're all closed.
Are they locked?
Yeah, fancy people and their doors.
Yeah, damn fancy people. You go up to the first door on your left, and you open it, Doc, and you peer in. And this does look to be like a changing room of some kind.
Let's close the door and see what we change into. No? Different?
Anyway.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So a changing room or something.
Would approximately the window at the end of the hall be where we would, or where?
No, this would have been like the window next to it.
Well, let's check the rooms next to that window.
So you walk all the way down the hallway, and you can hear some noises coming behind each of the doors. Sometimes it sounds like whispering. One of them sounds like somebody who's crying. Another one that you pass by sounds like some kind of a chanting that's going on. And then you reach the end of the hallway, and the one on the right, you open up, and sure enough, you open the door, and looks to be like a meditation chamber of some kind. It's super nice. It's fancy, but there's no fancy ornamentation or anything like this. There is a candle lit in the middle of the room, and a short chair or stool right in front of the candle, and there's a big heavy draped curtain in this room. It's probably, I don't know, 10 feet by 10 feet, but it's clear that this is the window that you had saw Adelsberger looking out of earlier.
Well, don't seem to be here now. So,
is there anything in the room at all that we can identify?
There's a candle, like a short stool for kneeling or sitting on, and that is it.
Okay. I'll go ahead and check the room opposite.
Yeah, so the room opposite, before you get to it, do me a favor and do an observation plus insight.
All right.
Because it might be a good idea with some of the other sounds that you heard coming from the other doors that you might want to listen to this door before you just open it up. You've got 5 momentum. This is what did I say, a D2?
I'm just checking here. Would this happen to be a test to detect danger or hidden enemies?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can reduce the difficulty by 1.
Okay. With what? What is your skill? What is your detective skill?
It's hidden danger. The same one that I have for
for
or constantly watching. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
Loman has that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also
All
got
right.
sharpshooter like Blisco.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. So go ahead. It's a D1.
Okay. /R 2D20, and I forgot what. Oh no!
0 successes. As you are reaching for the doorknob, the door suddenly opens up, and there's a man standing there. It's obviously Adelsberger, and his back is to you because he's turned and talked to someone else. And as he's talking, he says, "By damn, I will go back and kill that man myself. I don't care. I've murdered his father. I will kill him too. We must have that box." And at that moment, he turns around and sees both of you, all 3 of you, sorry. He turns around and sees all 3 of you and is like, "What are you doing here?" And then he notices the bulge in your jacket, Doc, and he's like, "You've got the box with you." And he reaches out and he tries to rip the box from your jacket. So if you would, Matthew, please roll me 2d20. This is a hand-to-hand combat.
Okay. So coordination and fighting, or no?
Agility and fighting.
Okay.
0 successes.
I didn't roll anything.
Sorry. It moved up, and I thought that Brian's roll was your roll. Sorry.
That was my.
How
my
dare you, sir?
1 success. All right. So it is a tie. So Adelsberger reaches out and he grabs a hold of your jacket and he pulls you, but he's not strong enough to rip your jacket out, but he's pulling you towards him. And you hear a sound in the background saying, "What are you doing? What's going on?" "He's got the box. He's here now. Get the others." And you hear a what? And you hear a door close and you hear a man running. And about 2 doors down, a door opens and there are 3 men dressed in robes that emerge. And that's the room where you heard the chanting. And they are starting to walk towards you. They all have very large daggers in their hands. We're at the start of combat, and Adelsberger has you in a grip, Doc. And he's got his hands on the box.
All right. I'd like to kill him.
Okay, how are you going to do that?
I have a gun.
Okay, so
in my coat.
you are grabbed. Okay, because he's got a hold of you. So it's going to be very difficult for you to pull out your gun. This is going to be a D3 in order for you to pull out your gun and shoot. Now, this is a close range item, so there's no penalties there, but you are at a D3 for this moment.
I will burn and monumentum.
Okay.
Would it still be a D3 if I were just trying to extricate myself from him?
That would be a hand-to-hand combat. That would not be a gunfight thing.
Okay, so coordination and fighting is what I'm going to be doing here, right?
That's your gun, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to do this with a better number.
Now, you've only got 1 success. It was a D3. Your shot goes wild, and you did roll a 19, so that is a complication in this case. The gunshot goes. The gun goes off, and even though it's supposed to be a very quiet gun, maybe something happened during your last encounter. You didn't have a chance to check the gun out. Maybe you forgot to clean it because you were so distraught over the telegram that you got of your father's passing. But this gun makes a loud noise, and certainly many people in the building have probably heard it. One of the men in their cloak come rushing at you, Detective Lohman, and he's got his knife, and he is going to attack you with it. If you would give me a agility and fighting to block this knife.
He's coming at me with the knife?
Yeah, he's coming at you with the knife. He's got it raised, and he's trying to take a stab at you.
So it's opposed. Yeah, I am all about them gun skills, though, so 4 successes sound good.
Dang.
Laird of mighty. That might have worked.
Double one.
4 successes. Holy crap. You definitely block this knife coming down at you. You block this knife coming down at you, and you have a chance to respond.
The responses are shove them away or do damage, right?
Yes,
I'll just do damage.
Okay. If you would, let's do hand-to-hand at 3. So three dice roll, please.
3 damages?
Yep.
2.
All right. Yeah, you clock this guy in the face, and he stumbles backwards. Who would like to go on your side?
I will pull out my gun and announce, everyone stand down. This is police. That man is under arrest. If you do not comply, we will protect ourselves.
Oh, is that your whole action?
Sure.
Okay.
No!
I'm just establishing.
Don't fall for it!
Okay. So the other thug doesn't really care what you say. He's coming at you with his knife raised. So if you would do a opposing with agility and fighting.
All right.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, he he whiffs completely. So
okay.
He hears your cry, and he starts to rush at you with his knife and thinks better, and he quickly dives into the little meditation room that the door is still open and slams the door.
Okay.
There is one more.
Okay.
No, you don't. There is one more robed figure and Adelsberger standing there. He's still trying to clutch onto Doc's box.
The Doc box. Do I have a turn, or have I?
Yes, you already went. So it looks like you guys have went. The third thug comes rushing at you. Let's see. Who do I want to have it go after? Comes and rushes at you, Gerard. And so again, let's do an opposing attack here on this one. Also, same thing. This guy sees your gun drawn. He comes at you, and that gun goes right up onto his nose. And he's like, "I don't want no trouble here. I'm just trying to get to the other side." And he says, "I have failed the society." And he runs and he jumps out the window, just crashes right through the window, and plummets to his death 3 floors below. All right, we are at the top of the round.
All right, then.
Okay.
Sir, let go of the box and come along peacefully.
Never! And he pulls out a dagger from behind his back, and it is a silver blade. It is a long silver blade, and he attempts to stick you right in the gut, Doc, with this one. So again, an agility and fighting, please.
Yep.
0 successes. Yeah. The knife, as he's stabbing it to you, you just move just slightly, and it strikes the box and kind of veers off and just makes a big gash in your jacket, and the box goes tumbling to the ground. You don't take any damage from this.
Can I aim and try to shoot the knife out of his hand?
You can aim and shoot him, yes.
All right. This might be a little mean, but can I go ahead and spend a fortune on that too?
Yes, you can.
And we got a lot of momentum too, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and spend one of the. Well, actually, I get one for free.
You probably get one for free if you have firearms, I believe. And you already have a success from your fortune.
Yeah.
So
two successes from
two successes from your fortune. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just roll the other 2 dice.
Okay. And you're going to spend a momentum or no?
No.
Okay.
Well, only one
so,
more success. So
okay, so 3 successes total. Yeah, so you are able to shoot, and if you would do some damage on your with that gun.
All right. Let's see. What is a 4? And does it get any bonus?
Any brawn, I guess, would be your bonus, right? Or I'm sorry, insight would be your bonus.
Insight is 10.
Yeah, your insight would be a +1 on that.
Okay.
I think, right? Yeah.
Where's that factored into those damages down? I don't know.
I don't think it is. I think it would say on the sheet if it was factored in.
5.
Yeah, very good. You hit him, and you hit him right in the wrist with your crack shot. And the knife goes flying out of his hand, and he goes down. Ow! 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 He is injured. He will probably never use this hand again.
Now, do we have to have any more trouble?
The final robed figure still comes rushing at you, Loman, and takes a swing at you with his knife.
Again?
Yep.
I will use
For the Order of the Silver Club! And he slashes at you.
Hey, 2 successes.
Very good. You fend off his attack, and you may respond.
Throw him out the window.
We're in the hallway, aren't we?
Yes, you are. You just saw one man go out the window.
No, I'll just clock him again.
All right, so go ahead and punch him and do some damage if you would.
I guess just 1.
All right, you punch him again.
Then I'm going to pull out the twin pistols.
Okay.
And
it's clear these guys are not just going to surrender.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and use this fancy fists full of lead ability.
Yeah, dual wield that thing and shoot this guy up.
We'll go ahead and use another momentum.
Okay.
And we're going to shoot twice.
Okay.
Yeah. So
how does shoot twice work?
It's the fistful of lead. Loman's ambidextrous and an expert using his signature pistols, dual wielding them with deadly effect. He may choose to make 2 separate attacks in his turn.
Okay, cool.
The other option is to concentrate fire on one foe, but
I mean, this is the only guy kind of left.
Concentrating fire is just +2 stress.
Oh, okay.
Whereas 2 shots is
okay. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot the guy. I'm gonna try and shoot him.
Yeah, you scratched into the handle of your gun. This one that you fire first says love. 3 successes,
3
very
successes.
good. Do some damage.
Damage on these are only 3, but they are vicious.
Yeah, they are.
It's insight for bonus damage. 10 is
1.
10 is 1 bonus damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. He's really damaged, but he is still kind of staggering to you. You might as well use your other gun that you have etched on the handle hate.
We'll use a momentum again.
Okay.
2 more successes.
2 successes. Very good.
And the damage.
Bam. He goes down. And you hear at the end of the stairs a bunch of people rushing up the stairs. What's going on? You hear some people sound like heavier footsteps, like maybe some bad guys. There's a whole crowd of people, some older men, some younger men that look like heavies, all come to the top of the stairs. You are policemen with your guns drawn.
Yeah. I don't suppose we've seen any phones nearby.
Oh, no. But you can hear outside. You can hear some sirens wailing because there is a guy that fell to his death just seconds ago. What's going on up here?
Police.
Police. Oh my God. And all of the older gentlemen panic, and at the minute that they say police, they scatter like roaches with the lights turned on. I mean, they like flee in terror. Adelsberger is on the floor holding his wrist. He's crying. It hurts so bad. Please.
I'm gonna pick him up by his opposite shoulder.
Yeah, the room that you were about to enter also looks. It's not a meditation room. It looks like a little small meeting room. There are 2 chairs there, and in the middle is a small round table. And on top of that, you see what looks like a crystal ball, and in front of that, a deck of cards. Now, you being a police officer, you know that in the 1940s, it was totally illegal for people to be doing tarot card fortune telling in the United States. Yes, you are police officers. And you know that fortune telling is a big no-no. So at least you've got them on that. But there is a door that is open that whoever was in the room with Adelsberger must have rushed out. So going through there, you can see somebody that looks like they're tied up. And in that room, which, it's comfortable, but it's just basically a small cot. There is another door that leads to another room where those 3 robed figures came out of.
There's a person tied up.
Yes, there is a person tied up. And you have in your possession one Edwin Adelsberger.
And there's nobody coming up the stairs anymore? Or
no, those people all scattered and ran. Okay. And about a heartbeat after all the old people, the rich guys left, all the other heavy guys, the younger guys, the security or thugs or whatever you want to call them, they kind of put 2 and 2 together and thought that it was probably in their best interest to also scatter.
Probably reasonable.
Tell my partner to go untie that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go into the room and it is a youngish woman. Hard to tell. Definitely high school age, maybe college age. She looks terrified and she's tied up and her mouth is gagged.
I'll approach. I'm Detective Lohman, ma'am. We're here to help you out. I'm gonna quiets down a little bit. I'm gonna pull down the gag.
Thank God! Thank God, officer! They were gonna kill me. They were gonna sacrifice me. Oh, thank God you're here! And her wrists are still tied, but she wraps her arms around you and she's hugging you. Oh, thank you for saving me! Thank you, thank you, thank you. And she's just hugging and holding on to you. It is clear that she is in hysterics.
Mr. Adelsberger, is he conscious or unconscious?
No, he's awake and crying from the pain.
Okay. I'm going to put a gun to his head. I'm going to ask him very, very, very pointedly, what in the world is in this box? And bear in mind that he just said he killed my father.
If it's what we think it is, it's the key to other worlds. We've been looking for it forever. We knew your father had it for the last 10 years, at least, and he refused to give it to us.
I point my gun at Nicholas and say, "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to put your sidearm away."
Hidden in plain sight.
Pardon?
The key to other worlds. And you're saying it's in the box?
We think so, yes.
And that's why you killed my father?
He wouldn't give it to us. We tried to offer him all sorts of money. For years, we've been asking him to give it to us. We'd buy it from him. He had some kind of ward on his apartment to keep us from breaking in at night.
And you suddenly remember, hey, yeah, with all the crime in your neighborhood, not once was your apartment ever broken into, even with that rickety latch on the bedroom window.
Interesting. Officers, you heard that overt admission of murder, correct?
We did.
Yes. You're going to put the siren down.
The sirens pull up and you hear
boots. I put my gun away.
The door, and you hear footsteps running up, and it's Detective Steele. What in the Sam Hill is going on here? Lohman, Gerard, Elias, arrest that man.
Arrest this man, officer or sergeant.
Look at his face. He's got loony crazy eyes. Of course he attacked this very nice gentleman.
This nice gentleman, as you put it, just admitted to the murder of Christos.
Yeah, there's
Christos Elias.
What? And there's why is that woman hanging on to you?
additional.
They were going to sacrifice me. They were going to murder me. What?
And Steele is like, I have no idea what's going on. Officers, bring them all in.
That we can agree with.
I make sure to get the box.
Yep, you have the boxes. There's a deck of cards. There's a crystal ball. There's a silver knife on the floor that was shot out of Edelsberger's hand. Across the room, there's a room with a candle with a light on it and a little stool.
Mr. Elias, if you would come with us.
I take it I'm no longer a person of interest?
No, but we're going to need your statement.
All right, that I can do.
And if you come with us, I'm sure that'd be more comfortable than other transports.
I want to see if I can grab that crystal ball.
Please don't.
It's a pretty heavy crystal ball.
Oh, okay. It's just that in my experience, crystal balls are very important.
So might be a giant silver knife on the floor, but whatever.
Is it my knife?
It's not your knife.
Should I take it? I'm going to take a giant silver knife.
All right. Quickly do a agility plus stealth. D1.
Oh, God.
You can burn all 6 of these if you want to roll 5 dice.
Oof. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
2 successes.
Very good. Yeah, as one of the detectives tells you to put down the crystal ball, you kind of let go of it. It drops and falls onto the floor, and you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And you bend down to pick it up, and while you're bent down, you palm the silver knife into your hand and into your jacket sleeve, and then you stand up and you go with them, everybody, down to the police station. And at the police station, everybody is taking statements. Everyone's putting things together. Adelsberger has his hand bandaged. But this guy's probably, not taken to the hospital. It's pretty clear that Steele is somebody who believes that pain is a good way to get the truth out of people. And over the course of the next couple of hours, the truth comes out that, yes, indeed, Adelsberger admits that he, working alone and under no one else, was trying to kill, pushed Christos Elias down the stairs at the docks and murdered him, and because he wanted this box. He doesn't know what's in the box. He refuses to say anything about what's in the box. He just knew that this box was worth a lot of money, and because of the marking on the bottom of the box, believed that it belonged to the Silver Key Club, and he was doing everything he could to get it back. He knows nothing about what the other members were doing in the other room with those women. When pressed on to why he is the president of the Silver Club and didn't know what was going on in those other rooms, he pleads the fifth just in time as his lawyer shows up. But Steele comes up to you, Doc, and he says, Elias, first of all, I want to say I'm sorry about your father's passing. It's a good thing that our fine police officers here at the Boston Police Department were able to bring in the perpetrator, and that I was able to coax a confession out of him. And this man is not going to be trouble to you anymore. I want to apologize for thinking that you might have been the person behind it. But then he leans in. Have you looked in a mirror lately? And I'm setting you free. Good luck. And please try to stay out of Boston in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And he kind of boots you out the front of the police station. It's raining in Boston in the evening.
Oh, so I have a box.
Yep. It's a box that is tied with some kind of twine that has no beginning and no end, but is impossible to cut with any knife or scissors or hands that you have seen so far today.
Interesting. Hidden in plain sight. Is it the same day that I tried to open it last?
I mean, when you tried to open it with no, it's midnight. Of course not.
Okay, it's a good day. I'm going to try to open it again.
What are you going to use?
I'm going to use my instincts. I'm going to use. I know what I'm going to use. I'm going to use Resilience.
What are you going to use? Nope. What are you going to use?
My hand off. Oh, my hand.
What are you going to use? You're going to use your hands. You fail.
Cut my hand.
You cut your hand. You cut your other hand.
Going to use the silver dagger.
Oh, you have the silver dagger, and as you pull the silver dagger out, and it glints in the light of the sodium vapor street lights, you can see on the handle, right at the hilt where the blade and the handle meet, you see a little stamp that has that key symbol in it that you've seen throughout. This is obviously made by the same makers who made this box. And as you slide the blade, it slices the twine in twain.
Twine. And what do I find?
Inside, you find a large silver key. And inscribed on the key is the phrase, "The dreamlands await."
I say the most vile curse in Greek.
Why?
Because it was hidden in plain sight.
Critical Hit Punch All Nazis is a production of Major Spoilers Entertainment and was produced and edited by me, Stephen Schleicher. If you would like to get a behind-the-scenes making of this episode, be sure to check out the GM Roundtable Octoon Cthulhu Edition at our Patreon page, patreon.com/Major Spoilers. Each week I discuss my plans for the upcoming game session, and Dr. Brad Will is there to share his reactions and advice on how to be a better game master. I will warn you, though, there are spoilers galore in every installment of the GM Roundtable Octoon Cthulhu Edition. So, if you don't like spoilers and don't want to know what I am planning next, don't listen to these episodes. Though, I will say, if you do listen, you'll be able to see how and where the players throw a wrench into my plans, and you're also going to have greater insight into the world that's being built into this campaign. Finally, we want you to record yourself doing your best on Critical Hit and send it to us at podcast@majorspoilers.com, and your voice will join the growing chorus of fans in upcoming episodes as well. Thank you again for listening this week, and here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2024 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.